Hey guys, welcome back. Few days away from it being September. Wow, this year has gone by so fast. New iPhone's coming out, 13. Should you upgrade? I'll give you a couple tips. Okay, so if you have an upgrade plan, this video is not for you. It's not for you because you have an upgrade plan. You're gonna upgrade anyway, right? So I'm gonna leave a video here or here. I don't remember which one it is. I'm gonna leave the video there of mine so that you can go and enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe, like I said in the intro. But anyway, also if you have the 12 mini, 12 regular, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, stick with it. Don't just watch the video I left a couple seconds ago up here somewhere. Just watch that video. And even if you do have the 11 series, I think it's gonna be pretty difficult to convince you to upgrade. But if you have a 7, an 8, a 10, a 10X, an XR, or even the SE2, you might want to consider these little things I'm going to talk about right here in this video. Number one, camera sensors. So according to my tocayo from Zone of Tech, with the regular 13, we're supposed to be getting a 1.7 micron sensor. And in the Pros, we will be getting a 1.9 microns. So that's about a 30% increase in the sensor size, which means better low light photos. Everybody's been talking about low light photos since the 11 came out. And on the 12 Pro that I have, here's some pictures. As you can see, no flash, with flash, and then night vision, or night mode. I forget what it's called, night mode. Now also on the ultra wide lens, we're supposed to be getting a new aperture f1.8 with autofocus. This is for those close-up shots that we love to take, say of a bee that's right next to you and it looks marvelous because bees are marvelous and they're cool creatures and we shouldn't kill them. Or maybe you want to take a picture of a needle in a haystack. We've seen this on the Samsung lineup, and it's about time Apple actually, came along with the program. Also, portrait mode on video will be coming out as what is rumored. I thought that by having a LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 12 Pro, it was gonna give me that blurry vision background, but it doesn't work like I expected it to. Maybe this new upgrade with, maybe a bigger LiDAR sensor or the hardware is going to be coming up, which is number 2. You like how I transitioned that, didn't you? You subscribe already. Why aren't you subscribed? I know you ain't subscribed. So when it comes to the hardware, there's no debate that Apple does have some powerful ass chips. Comes from the A series all the way down to the new M series, and we should be getting the new M1X for the new MacBook Pro later on this year in November, according to Mr. Gurman. And even though Apple does let you get upgrades on the latest iOS versions, it simply does not perform the way it should, like a new chip. So with this new A15 Bionic chip, I'm thinking it's gonna get a couple more efficiency cores, high-end cores, maybe, I don't know, the Neuron engine is it's gonna have a lot to do with the new camera sensors. It's gonna help them out a lot, and the LiDAR and all that. And I was thinking the hardware was not necessarily gonna need a new battery, but that's number 3. It's gonna have a bigger battery. So I went from the iPhone 8 straight to the iPhone 12 Pro. I didn't do the 10 or the 10X or the XR. I like to do big leaps. First of all, because I don't have money. Second, because that's when you can really see the advance and the new features that new phones have. From my iPhone 8 to my iPhone 12 Pro, the battery was pretty much the same. I have an 80% on my iPhone 8 and I have 92% now on my iPhone 12 Pro as far as battery conditions. And I had to shut down a lot of the animation features as far as when you close an app or you open an app, all that. I had to shut a lot of that down because it eats a lot of battery on my iPhone 12 Pro. So I was thinking probably with the new hardware, they weren't gonna need a new battery, but the rumor is they're gonna have new batteries, which is really, really needed. So if you're like me and you're checking emails, social media, shooting videos, streaming videos, listening to music, playing video games, looking at old pictures, taking some notes, battery on the iPhone 12 Pro doesn't get me through the day. Like, and I have two phones. I have my personal, which is the iPhone 12 Pro, and the 8, which I use for work. And neither one of those gets me throughout the day. It gets me through the 9-hour workday that I do, but it doesn't get me through the entire day. So having a bigger battery, you need it, especially because of number 4, which is 120 refresh rate. In the past, I was the one that was like, you know what, I don't really need 120. Oh man, was I wrong. Man, was I wrong. I should have waited for the 13. But anyway, the reason why the 13, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is why is needed now these days. I read a lot on my phone. I skim, I read through emails, and I skim through a lot of articles. So skimming through a lot of articles, it really, really messes up my vision. It gets it really, really tired, and sometimes I have headaches. But with this 120 hertz, it moves so smoothly, so you can skim and you can read perfectly while skimming. Not to mention, if you're a gamer, the next generation games are the best at 120 hertz. If you want to do Call of Duty Mobile, I'll leave my username down at the bottom so you guys can get at me, because I do that. Now, I'm not talking about watching movies, because most of the high pictured movies, or the big box office movies, they're shot at like 24 FPS, so you don't really need the 120 FPS. I'm talking about like more like gaming and reading and glimpsing through articles and things like that. If you're into that, then you should really consider upgrading to the iPhone 13 lineup. But correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's only going to be on the Pros and not on the 13 mini and the 13 normal. The hardware, which was number 3, will have a lot to do with this FPS, that it will change from having it to 120 to 30 or 60 FPS depending on what you're doing. I think that neural engine is really going to kick in there, and we're especially going to need that extra boost of energy, the boost of battery, for number 5, which is always on display. I don't have that on my Apple Watch, like the always on display, because it runs through your battery. Like, it literally, I can go one day with my always on display on my Apple Watch. Imagine what it's gonna do to an iPhone that's got a bigger display. It's gonna drain your battery, and it's gonna drain it good. But with this new LTPO display, maybe it'll equalize it and not go down as much. But we definitely need a bigger number 3, which was the battery, to get the full of 120 refresh rate and the always on display. Those are some of the things I believe why maybe you should consider upgrading. The biggest one, of course, is the cameras. Also, minor things that didn't make my list is the smaller notch. I'm not really into that, because the notch is still gonna be there. It's still gonna be there. You're just gonna maybe get, I don't know, a notification bell or some icon in between the notch and what you have left on the other two sides. It's still gonna be there. It's still gonna bother you. And I can't wait for people to say that when it comes out. It's still there. It's still gonna bother you. Let's see what they do. And I think I'm gonna wait until there's no notch. But that may be too far into the future. We don't know. Also, another thing that didn't make, there's no Touch ID under the screen. That might be a big deal for a lot of people because of the mask, and this pandemic is still going. By the way, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, please get vaccinated. We need this pandemic to stop. And if you're out, obviously you're wearing your mask, you can't unlock your phone. You gotta put your passcode. It doesn't bother me as much, and I have my Apple Watch on it most times, so it unlocks with my Apple Watch while I'm wearing a mask. Touch ID didn't make the cut because I don't think it's a big reason why you should upgrade. And you know, speaking about that, I think it's more on the business side of Apple, because they want you to buy an Apple Watch so you can unlock your phone. I mean, it's more sales for them, more revenue for them. I think it's more of the business side. Maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Well, that's been my video for today. Let me know in the comments down below what you're most looking forward to on the iPhone 13. If you're upgrading, what iPhone do you have now? Do you have a Samsung? Do you have a Google Pixel 6? Man, I want to get my hands on one of those. But anyway, this is the iPhone. What iPhone do you have? Are you planning to upgrade? Are you planning to downgrade? Let me know in the comments down below. Remember, I am Danny, your friendly Take Amigo, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.